Hey guys, I'm back with another action figure review, and this time we're going to take a look at the DC Universe Classics Green Lantern John Stewart. A figure that I have been looking for a very long time. Unfortunately, he goes for a lot of money, and I'm happy to finally have him. So, he was released in December of 2009 as part of Wave 11 of the DC Universe Classics, which was the Kilowog wave. And I did buy him loose, so I don't have the piece to show you, but it was one of Kilowog's arms. It's pretty standard looking Build-A-Figure piece. But, yeah. So, I was able to pick him up for like 18 bucks, and he did come with, as you can see, one of his Green Lantern constructs. He did come with another one, which I believe is a gun, and this is obviously a fist, which is really cool. If I had to pick one, I would have picked this one, so I'm glad I got that. Pretty decent price for him. It's on the lower end of the spectrum of what he goes for, unfortunately. He can go for upwards of like 60, 70 bucks in his box, and mint on card, and loose is typically around 20 to 30-ish. So I've been on several of him before in the past and never won, and this time I finally did, so yeah. I'll just give you a look at his construct before going into the figure. Pull it off there. It fits really nicely onto his hand. The only other figure that I've ever had that had a construct, or not owned, Todd owns it, the Sinestro Corps Batman, which his construct is a Batarang yellow that is made out of harder plastic, so the piece that goes onto his fist doesn't hold as nicely as this. This is a nice soft plastic, so it just slides right over the fist and stays put really nicely. So, yeah, and it's really nicely sculpted. It's just, green fist. It looks like a fist, and it's a good color. It's not quite the green that, he is, obviously, but that's normal. And so, yeah. It's my first construct ever. I have the Wave 20 Green Lantern Hal Jordan and the Wave 20 Sinestro, and neither of them come with constructs, so I'm actually looking into making my own, and so I'll see how that goes. But anyway, back to John. So John Stewart is my favorite Green Lantern in the Green Lantern Corps, and so that's why I was looking for a figure of him. That's mostly thanks to the Justice League animated series. He basically became like my Green Lantern because I really, really enjoyed that series. But yeah, I don't know, something about him I just really like. But anyway, so yeah, so let's just take a look at the figure. Sorry about that. So his face sculpt is really nice. I think it looks a lot like him. And it's not too serious, even though he is a serious character usually. But I think it looks really good, and it is on this figure. He was, I believe, re-released after this one in a 5-pack, for a Walmart exclusive 5-pack, where he's wearing a different suit. But it is the same head sculpt painted differently, and it's glossy on that figure, which I think is very strange. So I definitely like this one much better. I think it looks really good. Nicely painted. Even the eye, just like shoving him in the camera. The eyes look really good. I don't know. I don't know, they look like they have life in them. So that sounds a little weird, but so and his suit now is one of my favorites as well. Hal Jordan's suit with the white gloves. I'm not a fan of the white gloves. And I like that he doesn't wear a mask, because it doesn't hide your identity. I mean, what's the point? But yeah, I really do like his suit. It's very simple, but I like the black and the most of it being black, and then the touch of the green. And I love the green gauntlets, and these are painted in a metallic green. The costume isn't, but it doesn't. They're very nicely matched still, like the gauntlet versus versus the color of the costume. Even though this is metallic, and I guess this is slightly bluer, but it's not. It doesn't detract. Whereas, for instance, the Sinestro Corps Batman, he he was all yellow but had gold gauntlets that just looked really stupid in my opinion. So this looks really good. His ring looks good. You can see that. Yeah. So that's also painted in the metallic green that matches his gauntlets and matches his symbol. Now, my issue here is I bought this loose on eBay, like I said, and the seller had a picture of it and everything, said it was in mint condition, and even in the picture, it looked pristine, and his emblem has a chip in the paint. So that was really disappointing. I'm trying not to let it get to me, trying not to take notice of it. If he's far enough away, you don't really see it. It kind of just looks like a fleck of light or something. I don't know if I'm ever going to want to try and paint over it, because I would have to try and match the color perfectly. Not sure. It was disappointing, and I thought about saying something to the seller. I actually did put it in my feedback. I gave them positive feedback because it was still a good experience, but I did write in my feedback that he had a chip that wasn't in the photo. But I had a feeling if I wrote to the seller, they would just want me to return it, and I don't want to pay for shipping to return him. And I got him for a decent price, so I was happy to finally just have him. And the only other than that, he's in good shape, but he does have his right foot is really weak. And I don't know, that could have just been a factory issue, and that's not the seller's fault, but it was also a bit disappointing. He's got a really weak ankle that I'll probably end up shooting some super glue into. And you can see here, like, this foot, how far up the back of the foot goes. This one looks like it was, like, shaved off a little bit. And also the bottom has some, like, I don't know, gunk or something. So, an okay experience, but a little bit of a letdown when I was expecting, like, a mint condition, you know, John Stewart. But I'm just happy to have him, honestly. I'm really happy. And I'm really happy with the figure still, so. Anyway, back to actually reviewing him. I mean, that's basically it. The boots are not sculpted, they're just painted on, so, you know, lazy Mattel. And my other issue is that I have with, you know, these characters that have, the top of his shoulder is having focusing issues today, sorry guys. The top of his shoulder is green, so they use a green disc because, you know, if you have him standing, you're going to see the tops of his shoulders. And then if you lift his arms, and there you have nice green discs under there. Green underarms, woohoo! It looks very bizarre because his costume is black here. So, this is not, you know, the fault of, this is not like a mistake. I mean, I don't know if Mattel has the capabilities of making like two colored discs, and if they do, it's probably much more expensive for them, so I can understand why they do it. To remedy this, I actually, I spoke about that in my review of my Hal Jordan figure, and I said I might do it, and I finally did take a Sharpie to the underside, and I'll just show you that. Hold on. So this is the Wave 20 Green Lantern Hal Jordan. The same as pretty much every other Hal Jordan. But, so you can see his disc is green on the top. You can see both. And then on the bottom it was originally green as well, like John Stewart's. But, I like I said, took a Sharpie to the bottom. And now he can raise his arms, and it looks fine. It looks like normal. Just, all black underneath. You can see, like, it doesn't, I was just, you know, I was pretty careful about it. And you can see up against him, you can see a very little bit of the green because I didn't want to get too close to his body. But, you know, for the most, it's just much more pleasing to look at, in my opinion, than a fat green disc. So, yeah, while we have him here, might as well just do a little comparison of the two Green Lanterns. So, they look nice together. You can see the two suits, two differing suits. Hal wears a mask. Obviously, those are the white gloves I was talking about. Just not a huge fan. Much prefer the green gauntlets. And Hal is all glossy black and metallic green, while John Stewart is all flat colors aside from his gauntlets. Now, this is also a problem for me because if I wanted to take a Sharpie to the underside of his costume, like I did with Hal's, he's flat black, and the marker kind of comes out as a glossy sort of black. So I'm not sure I want to do that, but I could paint it if I took my time and made sure that it doesn't get stuck. I could use flat black paint and do that. So who knows? I may do that. But that's essentially it for, you know, the sculpt and the paint work on him. It's oh, and just another note. He does actually have he had a peg hole, I guess a peg hole in his back. For some reason they used a buck that had a peg hole, and they plugged it. They actually did a nice job plugging it, as opposed to a lot of other times that Mattel has done this. I mean, I still don't understand why they don't just have a version of the buck that doesn't have that in it, but, you know, I mean, you know what? Oh, wow. Hal actually has it too. See if you can see that. Yeah. Wow. I didn't notice that. So they're definitely, they definitely improved their, plugging. So yeah, that's his sculpt and paint work. Again, I'm just going to give you another look at the face because that's really nice. And that's about the only, you know, really intricate detail that's been sculpted. You know, obviously he's just a regular DC Universe Classics buck otherwise, so yeah. And the ring. So, yeah, I'll just go through articulation. His head does do a full 360, but does not go up and down pretty much at all. It goes down maybe a tiny, tiny bit, but really nothing. So that's a shame because, you know, Green Lanterns, they can get into fight poses, and so it's a bummer. But arms go all the way around, in and out. Quite a bit loose, actually, at least. Yeah, well, whatever. Doesn't feel like it's going to break or anything. Anyway, bicep swivel, single jointed elbow, and wrist twist. Not at the gauntlet. He does have an ab crunch. Pretty typical. A waist twist. T-jointed legs. In and out, up and down. A cut above the knee. A single knee. And the typical single ankle that has a really good range of motion, and particularly on the one that has an extra piece, like chunk of it missing. And he also does have a slight ankle rocker that I want to say is intentional because it is on both feet, but and I do believe that Mattel used to use these pathetic ankle rockers that just make the ankles weak. Take a lesson from Hasbro, Mattel. Give us nice ankle rockers. But yeah. I guess I've sounded a little bit negative in this review, but I don't mean to at all because I really do love this figure. It's just a little bit a matter of a slightly disappointing eBay experience, and I mean that's really it. Other than that, he's a great figure. And I don't know about this ankle. This might have been Mattel's doing, and if in that case, then you know, boo, bad on them. But a little super glue should fix him up, and yeah, he looks like John Stewart to me. And that's really all that matters. I think he's going to fit in nicely with the few lanterns that I have and may get in the future. I'd love to pick up a Kyle Rayner as well, but he goes for a lot of money unless you can find somebody who actually has a bidding and not buy it now auction for like $80. So, yeah. I think that about covers it, and that was the long review for a loose figure and one that's missing an accessory. But I just was really excited to get this figure and talked a little bit too much, I suppose. So thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you in future reviews. Bye, guys.